Hi, it's Hinda and welcome to Cooking Fantasies. In our new baking video today, we will be making the delicious French pear and almond tart. It's the perfect combination of crusty tart paste filled with poached pears and frangipane or almond cream. So let's get baking. To make the biscuits for the paste, we're going to need 190 grams butter, 325 grams flour, half teaspoon baking powder, a pinch of salt, and 95 grams water. For the almond cream, we're gonna need 3 eggs, 150 grams almond flour, 150 grams butter, 150 grams sugar, some drops of bitter almond extract, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla sugar. And finally, to garnish the tart, we're gonna need about 3 pears and 60 grams apricot jam. So the first thing we're going to prepare is the base for the tart, which will be short crust pastry. So first, add all the dry ingredients, the baking powder, a generous pinch of salt, and the vanilla sugar to the flour and mix together. Now add the butter cut into small cubes and use only the tips of your fingers to well incorporate it into the flour. The butter should be cold and has been out of the fridge for about an hour. And keep mixing with your fingertips until you achieve this kind of wet sand texture and you don't have any dry flour. Now add the water in one go and use a wooden spoon to mix it in. Once it starts holding in together, transfer the dough into the working surface and just kind of roll it around until all the small pieces are stuck to the dough. You don't want to knead it or overwork it. Now cover it with some plastic wrap and place it in the fridge for at least an hour before use. And meanwhile, we will prepare the almond cream, which is also called frangipane. So first work together the butter and the sugar into a kind of paste, and the butter should be in room temperature to make this easier. Then use the whisk and incorporate the eggs one at a time. The eggs are well incorporated, add the almond flour and whisk it in. Then at this point, add a couple of drops from the bitter almond extract. This is optional, but it does add a nice flavor to the tart. And our almond cream is ready. We're gonna as well cover it with a plastic wrap and place it in the fridge till we need it. Now to prepare the pears for poaching, we're gonna first have to peel them, cut them into halves, and remove the core by cutting along around the core and scooping it out. Prepare the syrup by boiling enough water to cover your pears with some sugar, and the amount of sugar depends on how sweet and ripe your pears are. I added about half a cup of sugar to 2 liters of water and my pears were quite ripe. Allow the pears to boil in the syrup for about 3 minutes and then remove them. And now that we have all the elements ready, let's start building our tart. Flour the working surface and roll out the dough and make sure to roll it big enough to cover both the bottom and the sides of the baking tin. And you're gonna have to keep adding flour generously and flipping the dough while rolling to prevent it from sticking to the working surface. Flour the baking tin also, and you can either use a silicone tin like I did or even better a metal pan. To easily transfer the dough, fold it on twice, place it on the tin and unfold it. Now cut off a piece from the excess dough, Roll it into a small bowl and use it to press the dough against the sides and the bottom of the baking tin. Use a knife to trim off all the extra dough exceeding the sides, and use the same technique as before to make the top as even as possible. Spread the almond cream or the frangipane on the tart base and even it out. Make sure that it covers all the sides and the corners. Slice the pear halves and carefully place them on top of the cream. My oven is preheated to 175 degrees Celsius, that's 347 degrees Fahrenheit, and it takes from 30 to 35 minutes to bake. And if you'd like to decorate the tart with almond flakes, as soon as it's ready, add them on the top and bake it for an extra 3 minutes. As soon as you take the tart out of the oven, heat the jam either in a microwave or on a stove and brush the pears with it. This will lock the moisture, give it a nice glaze when it's dry, and adds also to the flavor. Then allow your tart to cool and set for at least 2 hours before removing it from the tin and cutting it. And there you are, you have the amazing pear and almond tart. It's perfect for dessert or just with coffee and tea. I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions regarding the recipe, don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section and I will answer you right back. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more recipes and see you soon with another cooking recipe, and happy baking!